Hello people, I am Jay Beetle and I am going to show you how to add a Headless Horseman Halloween boss to any of your maps without plugins or the need of an admin. So first of all, you'll want to add the entities that are required to make that make up the Headless Hatman. That's the other name for it. That's just what I'm going to call him. So the map will know which files to pull to complete the whole package. So first of all, you'll just want to make a simple prop dynamic and change its model to Headless Hatman, and then do the same exact thing for his axe. Both are needed. And then of course you'll need all the sounds that he makes, including when he enters and exits and slashes his axe and dies, everything. So that means that you'll need 12 ambient generics, and all you need to do with those is find all the sounds using browse that have Halloween.Headless boss. So this one will be boss dying, boss footfalls, boss axe hit world, all of them, and there'll be 12. After you've done that, you can move all of these, including the sound files, to a place that your players won't reach. They don't need to be seen. If you don't want to do that, if you have just like a corner of the map, you can just go back to the axe and the Hatman model and just change their render mode to don't render, and they'll be invisible. But you don't need these any other time, so they just need to be in the map somewhere. Next, you'll want to make 3 other entities, and we'll start with a point template. This is how it knows which to spawn. I believe you can spawn more than just one, but for this it'll just be one. So name it HHH_template, and the first template will be the name of the actual Headless Hatman entity, which is Headless_Hatman. That's important, that is Headless_Hatman. This can be anything you want, the name, but the template one has to be Headless Hatman. Next, you'll want to actually make the Headless Hatman entity. It does not actually exist, but it will sort of trick the map into calling on the entity that is the actual guy running around swinging the axe. And since his name is Headless Hatman, all you need to do is make an entity that is called Headless Hatman, just like this, and that's all you need to do. It won't come up in the list. You're actually going to have to type it out and type in, you might even have to type in target name. Yeah, I think you will. But after that's done, you'll move over to the env entity maker. This entity is where the Headless Hatman will spawn. He'll come up from the ground, as you probably remember. So this is the only one that actually matters where you put it. You don't want it up in the air, because while he'll fall to the ground once he spawns, it'll kind of look weird. So you kind of want it on the ground. Name this maker just for the sake of ease, and have it point to your template, whatever you called it, HHH template. And that's pretty much all you need to do for those entities. Now all that's left is to have something call the spawn, make the entity spawn, make the Headless Hatman spawn. And in this case I chose a button. So just make your average button. You can make it move if you want. You can make it just boring. It doesn't really matter. This I don't even think needs a name, unless you're going to lock it, unless you don't want someone to keep spamming the button and continuously spawning him. There won't be more of him spawn, but it can be annoying to hear the sounds over and over of him spawning and putting his head on and stuff like that. So that's why there's a name. So first and most importantly, you want to say that when this button is damaged, it will target the place where he spawns, which I called maker, and it will force the Headless Hatman entity to spawn. And then also what is important is when it's damaged to also kill it. And you might think that's kind of pointless because they'll kill it as soon as it spawns. Well, that's not actually the case. I can't really explain that, but the reason for this is if you want him to be respawned, he'll kind of go up into himself when he respawns. So this just kills off the old one that might have been spawned if there is one, and it'll respawn it at this env entity maker again. Now, the unlock and lock feature doesn't really matter. It's just, like I said, if you want it to be depressed for a while so it can't be respawned for a minute, that's fine. And that's all you need. If you want him to not be spawning all the time, which is I recommend that because he can get pretty annoying pretty fast, you can make another button that just targets the Headless Hatman. Just target the Headless Hatman entity and kill it, and that'll just take it off, and it won't respawn. If it didn't have this, he'd always spawn after you hit the button. Well, every time you hit this button, every time you hit the green button, if he wasn't killed by a player, then he'd keep spawning anyway. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this. I would recommend that you kind of don't overuse this boss or any of them because they can kind of get annoying pretty quickly, as I've found out myself. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, sort of tutorial, and I'll be doing more of these. Thank you very much.